Good afternoon once again. In this presentation, we will be going through the nature and depth of relationships.
Firstly, we will be defining relationship as a close connection between two or more people which guide us as to how we act around people. Relationships can both be positive and conflicted, and that through this connection, one can grow more psychologically, emotionally, and physically stable. Relationships are imperative for many different reasons, such as increasing our emotional well being, creating stability, learning how to be a good friend, having someone to count on and trust in times of need, and someone to vent to when we face challenges, friends that'll help take away our loneliness. We've all been in a wide range of relationships in our lives. This presentation is going to explore relationships by examining specific relationship characteristics and the nature of significant relationships. First, among these characteristics would be duration, which is related to the length of your relationship with that person. Some friendships lasts a lifetime, and others, on the other hand, lasts only for a short period of time. Second, we have contact frequency, which is how often one communicate with another person. There are people in our lives we have known for years but only talk to infrequently. The more we communicate with others, the closer our bond becomes to the other person. Sometimes people think duration is the real test of a relationship, but it also depends on how often you communicate with the other person. The third relationship trait is sharing. The more we spend time with other people and interact with them, the more we are likely to share information about ourselves. This type of sharing involves information that is usually private and very intimate details of our thoughts and feelings. We typically don't share these informations with strangers, but once we develop a sense of trust and support with this person, then we can actually begin to share more and more details about ourselves and our past experiences. The fourth characteristic is support. Think of the people in your life and who you would be able to call in case of an emergency. The ones that come to mind are the ones you know who would be supportive of you. They would support you if you needed help in money, time, or advice. Support is another relationship trait because we know that not everyone can support us in the same manner. As they say, no man is an island. The fifth defining characteristic of relationships is the interaction variability. When we have a relationship with another person, it is not defined by your interaction with them, rather, on the different types of conversations you can have with that person. Therefore, our interactions with others are defined by the greater variability that we have with one person as opposed to another. The last relationship characteristic is goal. In every relationship that we enter into, we have certain expectations about that relationship. For instance, if your goal is to get closer to another person through communication, you might share your thoughts and feelings and expect the other person to do the same. Hence, in all our relationships, we have goals and expectations about how the relationship will function and operate. In addition to those relationship characteristics, we also have here elements of a good relationship, which includes trust, commitment, and willingness that will help us maintain and support the intimacy and empathy, and as well as the skills that we need to have in a relationship. And now for our four significant and major relationships, we have first, of course, our family relationships, our friendships, work relationships, and of course, romantic relationships. And finally, allow me to enumerate to you guys the six types of relationships and their effects in our lives. First, we have the platonic relationship. This relationship is formed with honest motives without any romantic feelings. Having said this,
Being in a platonic relationship means there shall be no expectations of further developing the friendships into anything more than it is. However, sometimes platonic relationships can change over time and shift into a romantic or sexual relationship. Second, we have a romantic relationship. Romantic relationships are those characterized by feelings of love and attraction for other person. While romantic love can vary, it often involves feelings of infatuation, intimacy, and commitment. Romantic relationships often burn hot at the beginning, while the initial feelings of trust, emotional intimacy, and commitment grow stronger. Third in line, we have codependent relationships, which are imbalanced, dysfunctional type of relationships in which a partner has an emotional, physical, or mental reliance on the other person. Not all codependent relationships are the same. However, they can vary in terms of severity. Fourth, we have casual relationships, which often involve dating relationships that may include sex without expectations of monogamy or commitment. However, experts suggest that the term is vague and can mean different things to different people. Casual relationships tend to be more common among younger adults, but people of any age can engage in this type of relationship with consent and communication as the key. Fifth in line, we have open relationships. Open relationships are those of consensually non monogamous relationships in which one or more partners are involved in the said relationship. Both people agreed to be in multiple relationships at the same time, but may have certain conditions or limitations. Lastly, we have toxic relationships, which are any type of interpersonal relationship where your emotional, physical, or psychological well being is being threatened in some way. Such relationships often leave the abused party feeling ashamed, humiliated, misunderstood, or unsupported. And if you are ever in a relationship like this or with someone in your life, it would be best to create strong boundaries to protect yourself. Talk to a mental health professional or consider terminating the relationship. As a conclusion, no matter what type of relationship you have, it is important for it to be a healthy one. Healthy relationships are characterized by trust, mutual respect, openness, honesty, and affection. Good communication is also great for a healthy relationship. Making sure you let others know that you care and showing your appreciation are two helpful strategies. Relationships are vital, as having a variety of relationships with different people can ensure that you have a support and connection that you need for your emotional health and well being. And that wraps up our presentation for today, which is about the nature and depth of relationships. If there are any clarifications or some dull parts, please feel free to approach me so that I can do my best to clarify those things in the best way that I could. And I would very much appreciate it if you could also give me suggestions or some words for me to make room for improvement. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much.